when I made The Honorable Woman, which was my only other television project, it was entirely written. It was, when I got it, there were little things that shifted and changed, but fundamentally there was a script that we shot. It was very new for me to be working on something that was emerging as we were shooting it, and very exciting. And I think that's interesting what you were saying about what you go out selling, which also is something very different, I think, to sell something than actually articulating exactly what it is you're hoping to explore and make. And whether or not that's going to continue to intrigue you, right? So here, I don't know. I have one good one that's like very simple. I said to David early on, I was interested in the idea of the difference between transactional sex and desire, and what that looks like, juxtaposed against what like real feminine pleasure and desire looks like. And that in a way, if you can show real feminine pleasure, which is unusual anyway in television and film, you expose that that's not really what you were watching the whole time you were watching the transactional sex. So I said really, like, it was like our first, I mean, I'd already agreed to do it and we were like involved, but it was like our first lunch, you know, we hadn't started shooting at all. And I said, maybe you could write a scene where Candy masturbates. And David, like being David, he's like pretended to spit his water back into his cup. And he was like, but I didn't hear anything about it for a long time. And you're asking me, how do you actually collaborate? How do you actually get something that's important to you, or at least begin a conversation about it? I said what I wanted to say. I didn't hear anything back for a while. I got the feeling that the vibe was to lay off, and I did. And then it wasn't until episode 5 that I saw that seed that I had planted in the writing in a much more interesting way than I had envisioned it, which is great. I mean, that's what you hope for. And then I think even what we ended up shooting surprised both David and I. And I remember after we shot it, so this is now an idea, something being written, something being shot, and then even the editing process of this scene was another shift again. But after we shot it, David was like, we did it. We did what you said. We showed the difference between these two kinds of orgasms, these two kinds of, I mean, David would barely probably say that, but, but that's what he meant. And then even in the editing, Nina cut the orgasm. And
we're short on time.
But that was another place where, like, I basically, like,
a few shortcuts.
I basically wrote a dissertation on why we had to keep the orgasm, and they put it back. They put it back. Yeah.
She made it better.